Alrighty, so the book is almost done. Yes, I wrote a book. If you can believe it, I can read and write. It's pretty crazy. And I'm focusing more and more of my business on not really just consulting now or working on, being like a chief sales officer or a fractional CRO, anything like that. I'm adding in some AI automations and agents to help businesses to be more efficient and to handle a lot of the tasks that I keep seeing keep coming up that a lot of these smaller businesses need. And what's really weird about that and kind of cool at the same time is, like, I talk to home service businesses, I talk to SaaS businesses, I talk to manufacturing businesses. I have a wide array of clients, oddly enough, and a lot of the same things come up. Like, they don't have great speed to lead. They don't have a way to ask for a referral. They don't have good ways to ask for reviews. They may not track their client's journey very effectively. And I find that the client journey is really, if you don't understand the client journey, how do you sell anything? And when I say that, think about it like this. The client journey is how the client goes from, I've never heard of your business, to how do you get them from point A to point B? They never heard of you to now they want to work with. If you see my fingers over here, it's a straight line. How do you get them there? And if you never thought about that, or it's just we do it this way and that's how we've always done it, it might be time to analyze that aspect of your business and work in your business / on the business. Because you're in the business, I get it. A lot of guys, a lot of men and women, they own companies, they have to do work every day. They're working in the business. But when you're working in the business, step back from it and let's work on the business while we're still in it so we can make it more efficient. And that will offload more time, less headache, probably lead to a very, very profitable year for you because you have a better grasp of this. And the example I wanted to use was actually a really interesting one. I had a local pizza shop. I go there once a year and I had my shirt on, and it just so happened the gentleman that was behind the counter that day owned the shop. And he asked me, he was like, what the hell kind of business is man sales? And I was like, I don't know, what the hell kind of business is pizza? Like what do you mean? And I was just messing with the guy, but I was like, nah, man, this is what we do. He was like, really? You consult on small businesses? I said, yeah. I said, I help them with their process, their systems, how they actually sell their product, how they market it. We do a full analysis and then we see where we could add AI and, possibly where their business is leaking revenue, how we could help them fix that to grow their business. Or if they don't want to grow their business, how to make it more efficient so they have more time. Everybody wants, one of two outcomes. They either want more money or they want more time. That's universal. That's like the two things every business owner wants. And he was like, well, I make pretty good money. He's like, but I'm here a lot. And I was like, yeah, that's understandable. And he's like, I've been thinking about hiring a manager. And I was like, yeah, that's probably a good step. I said, but do you have enough money to pay a good manager? And he's like, well, that's the whole thing. Like, if I pay the manager, it takes the money out of my pocket. I'm like, okay, well, if you'd like help with this, we do a 15-minute free call. And then I recommend you book a real call and we'll spend an hour or two and go through everything. And then I have some products and things that you should buy. They would be a very good investment. It's a write-off. It's an expense. And you probably learn something. This guy, without missing a beat, said, how much? And I gave him our quick little price, and I emailed him real quick. And then I was like, this is probably something you don't do, but check your phone. And he got it. He got my text message, he got my email, and he got a Loom video from me. And he started like getting content sent to him from my system. And he was like, wow, this is freaking cool. He's like, you just sent me a video. Yeah, how cool was that? And he's just like, that's really cool. And I was like, I know you sell pizzas, but like, you make your money on recurring customers, right? I said, do you have like a rewards program? Do you have like, do you make the clients do you make like the buyers feel special at all? He said, well, they come in and buy pizza and we have a good pizza. And I'm like, well, ultimately that's going to be the base of the business, is the food good. But how is the experience? Did they get anything extra? Did they get a bonus? Did they earn something? Did they get recognized? Do you have a raffle? Do you have anything to add a little wrinkle to the business? And he was like, well, no, we just make good pizza. I'm like, do you want to make millions of dollars or you just want to make good pizza? He's like, I want to make millions of dollars. And I was like, yeah, that's an admirable goal, but you got to do things differently. And I said, not a lot different. I mean, the pizza has to stay the same. It has to stay great. I said, but the way you do the business could be a huge thing. I said, you got 5 guys back here working. Are any of those guys incentivized to sell people pizza? He's like, what do you mean? I was like, Does any of them have an employee code to be like, hey, get 10% off or 20% off your first pizza? For me, here's my employee code. Give us a try. I said, the only way you get people addicted to pizza is they got to buy the first slice, right? And he's like, oh my God. And I was like, indeed. Booked a call, pretty much bought everything. And now I'm on retainer with this guy. And, we're now in our first call session. We're slowly building. I did not expect to have a pizza guy as a client. That's not my target market. But my point in saying all this was every business has the same couple of things that you can work on. Your client acquisition. How do you market? How do you make people happy? What's the customer experience? First time buying a pizza. Do you know if it's the first time they've ever ordered from you? Well, that might be a great time to give them, a little baby pizza, or to give them a free fry or an extra drink, or give them something and say thank you for giving us a shot. Here's 25% off your next order, and if you give us a 5-star review, we're doing a raffle where we're going to give away a year of free pizza. Do you know how many people would give a 5-star review at a shot for a year of free pizza? Like every person that came into the store. I said, so you'd go from like 55-star reviews to 500 really quick. I said, your phone would be ringing off the hook. I said, and then if you don't answer it, what happens? And he's like, well, if I don't answer the phone, then nothing happens. I'm like, okay, so you just missed money. Phone agent might help you. I don't know how I'm going to set one up for a pizza shop, but I'm figuring that out. But it's like, it's always the same couple of things. And then we're getting into like how the business runs, some of his numbers, and like trying to figure out that stuff. And like, we looked at some of his pricing just recently, and it's like a couple of these items should be priced higher because they can be, you know what I mean? Like, they're your most popular item. $1 extra, it makes a lot of difference to you. It doesn't make a lot of difference to the end user. If you said, oh yeah, the pizza's $12, well now it's $13. Everyone expects prices to go up. It's your most popular item. People are still going to order it, especially if it stays great. And you could tell people that, hey, cost of ingredients have went up. I got to increase the cost of the pizza a little bit to offset that because I want to give you guys a great pie. Does that make sense? And he was like, oh shit. And I was like, do you have a customer database? He's like, what's that? And I'm like, do you have a CRM? And he's like, what's a CRM? Like, what's a CRM? This guy, he's killing me. And I'm like, I thought he was messing with me. I was like, what do you mean a CRM? Like a CRM, your customer relationship management, software. I don't have that. And I'm like, so I'm going to show you how to make a lot of money, but you're going to pay me first. And then you're going to make a lot of money. Are we cool with that? He's like, fuck. He's like, yeah. How much? And I'm like, okay, we'll get to that. My point is, this guy runs a business that has been there for years. He's an old school, I want to say possibly Italian. I don't judge people, but he looked a little Italian to me. Pizza slams. It's always got people coming in and out, but it's not like super busy. It's consistent. And I said that, I was like, dude, you can't go on your computer right now and send everybody a coupon to say, hey, the Wednesday night special, the slowest day for you, we're doing a buy one, get one. He's like, well, technically I'm giving a pizza away. And I'm like, technically you're making profit on a Wednesday that you would never have made. And he's like, I can make money on Wednesday. I'm like, yeah. How about that? Chick-fil-A is closed on Sunday and they ain't hurting for money. He's like, yeah, they got a fancy app. I was like, you don't need a fancy app, but you do need a way to track your clients. And as you grow, fancy app might be a good idea, but you're not Domino's, you're not Pizza Hut, but you could send customer rewards. I mean, imagine if you had everybody's name, email, and their birthday and their cell number, and you texted them, happy birthday, come have a slice on us, whatever. I said, how many people would come back and buy again? And he's just like, all of them. And I'm like, let me set that up for you. We can do that. It's not a big deal. He's just like, we gonna do that. And I was like, perfect. So I'm working with a pizza guy, and I'm going to figure out how to make his business make more money, and then eventually hopefully get him a manager in there so he can go out and, enjoy his life. Because it was actually really sad. He's like, yeah, I bought a boat 2 years ago. We had the best year. And he went out and bought a boat, which I was like, you should have invested in your business, bought an asset, he bought a toy. I'm not here to judge you. He's like, but it's just been sitting in my yard because I got to be here, every day-ish. Most days of the week. And he's like, in the days that I'm not here, he's like, I got to keep my cell phone on me because if there's a problem, I got to be able to answer it. And I'm like, number one, you got to get a phone that works on the water. And number two, hopefully we'll get you out on that boat. So if you're in that position, not that you're in the pizza world, but if your business feels like it's ruining your life or It is your whole life. Book a call. Let's see if we can help you. Comment